question has to do with the forum, and so it is you talked about getting a new police department as mayor and supporting that. How do you think the city should go about having the funds for that?
Well, your question is a little bit wrong. I didn't talk about a new police department. I talked about a new police building.
Well, the building, yes.
Yeah. We have a pretty good police department, but we could still use more people. As far as funding goes, there are ways to create funding for a police department building, but we do need a new building. The one we have is it was old 20 years ago when they were talking about building a new police building then, when they were going to put it in the basement of the current city hall. The building was old then, and it's not gotten any better over the last 15 or 20 years. So we definitely need a new police building. There are lots of nice locations around town where we could build one. There's lots of nice vacant lots. There's a lot of empty buildings around town that we could possibly use and renovate as a police station. City recently bought a new building. I don't know whether it'd be feasible to change that into a police station or not. But it definitely needs to be done. As far as funding goes, there are creative ways of getting funding for a police station other than just asking people for more taxes. We have this $50,000 to $150,000 we're supposed to be getting from the Highway 36 people that they're going to disband. That's a possible source of funding. We could be a good start for a police station. There are other ways, just put it in the budget over a couple of years and get it paid for that way. But yes, I do believe we do need a new police building, and it needs to be renovated so that we can have our own 911 service out of that building, along with other things that normal police departments have.
The other thing that you mentioned, and then it was also on Facebook, was about the water and the osmosis. Can you explain that a little deeper, how that would help Monroe City if we went to that type of water treatment? Or
I'm not exactly sure how reverse osmosis works. I can't explain it. It's a filtration system that Culligan uses. I personally have Culligan in my house. We purchased a Culligan filter when we moved to town 30 years ago. It cost us $20 a month to have filtered water, and it hooks right onto our sink, and Culligan takes care of it. So my feeling was that I'm not sure whether we need to get out of the water treatment business, because if we did, then our water rates would go up, and I don't want to do that. But we need to contact people like Culligan and figure out how these systems work, and maybe look into changing to a system like that instead of just pouring chemicals upon chemicals into our water to treat it. Let's go ahead and filter it instead of treating it. And that was my thinking on reverse osmosis.
in the open forum, they were talking about economic development, and the other two candidates were for the Moberly Economic Development Group helping Monroe City, while you were against it. What's your comments on that?
My comments on that was I was against it, and I'm still against it. We have been with this group now for 8 years. We pay them $40,000 a year, and as far as I'm concerned, we have wasted our money. They have done absolutely nothing for us. The other two candidates mentioned that the economic development out of Moberly or Macon has brought us a couple businesses into town, and they specifically mentioned BK's and the family restaurant. Well, BK's is run by Kathy Washington, most people know, and she was going to start that business in town. She was trying for a couple of years. All she needed was a couple $1,000s in backing. They had nothing to do with her being in town. I talked to Tammy out at the family restaurant, the other business they mentioned. Tammy had never heard of these people. They didn't help her. I talked to other people now who've had businesses in town and have had to leave because they couldn't get no help and they never heard of this Moberly Economic Development. So I'm totally against this. And they're saying we have another 2-year contract, and if elected, I will not honor that contract. I will not send them another dime. As far as economic development goes, we need to develop our own economic development, talk to our people here, and see what we can do. There's so many things that we've got going for us in this town where we've got 2 major highways and they split here. This is a perfect place to talk to somebody like TA to develop a truck stop here in town, you know. And things like that. There's, like I said, there's 2 major highways. There's 2 truck companies. There's 2 sets of railroad tracks going through town. We got We got a 3,500-foot runway out here that we can land corporate jets on. There's all kinds of things going for Monroe City, but we need to get people here locally who are interested in Monroe City to get on the Economic Development Committee, who are willing to just send a letter or make a phone call to talk to these people and say, hey, you need to come check us out and look at Monroe City. There's other things going on. The Corps of Engineers has had a plan in the works for the last couple of years to develop a hotel marina complex. Now, a multi-million-dollar hotel. They're just looking for backers and stuff like that, or somebody to develop it. And it's things like that that here in Monroe City we don't even know about, and we need to work together to do things like that. So I'm a firm believer in economic development, but I think we should be doing it locally. We shouldn't be outsourcing it to somebody who could care less about our community. They're doing economic development for Macon and the Mobile area. They're not doing it for the Monroe City area.